The weenie spends his time doing nothing productive whatsoever. He jacks off, he plays video games, he scrolls on social media, and the worst thing is he binge watches productivity videos just like this one instead of actually sitting down and doing his work. And then there's the ultimate man. He spends his time in the most effective and efficient way possible. He understands that wasted time is detrimental to his self improvement, and so he uses every second as productively as possible. But he wasn't always like this. He had to go through the trials and tribulations of wasting time and playing video games and watching trash productivity videos like this one. And then he learned a couple few tactics which I'm going to teach you in this video, which turned him from a time waster into a productivity god. When I was younger, I wanted to be a productivity god. I wanted to be able to just sit down and do the work because I was tired of procrastinating and I was sick and just tired of saving things till last minute because I was playing video games. And I'd always struggle and I'd watch these YouTubers are like 3 ways to like they would be doing some like stupid tactics like the Pomodoro technique, and it's like, bro, you're a grown person and you're there like, oh, 25 minutes of work and then 5 minutes rest. So obviously I didn't really resonate with those videos because, like, number one, the guy just wasn't relatable, and number two, it was literally they just gave the worst, like, they gave advice that would only work if you almost like you didn't struggle with the problem in the first place. So in this video, I'm going to teach you some things that I've learned which actually helped me like become productive. Instead of like, I'm not going to tell you advice that you haven't heard before. Most of it is going to be like brand new to you, but I promise this will probably help you out more than like the cringe YouTubers. But there's one requirement for you. You need to just like almost distrust your own brain, or at least have an open mind to this instead of just closing off the things you don't like to hear, because if you do that, you aren't going to be productive. You, or even what you want in life in general, you need to like almost have the humility to understand that is a problem you struggle with, and that if you like try and implement it and it works for you, then you just gained a benefit. But if you just like, no, 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 I'm better than that, or I don't need that, you might be missing out on like gold dust, bro. So pay attention to this video, and at the end, I'm going to give you a really good tip, which you definitely haven't heard anywhere else, which will skyrocket your productivity. Productivity tactic number one: turn on do not disturb and do not turn it off. Now you could even make this a bit more extreme and like turn off notifications. When you get a text message on your phone, right? And so you're in the middle of work and then you just quickly respond to the text message, right? Quick text message, like for like 1 or 2 seconds. How long do you think that distracts you for? 2, 3, 5, maybe even 10 seconds? It's more like 15 minutes where your brain gets distracted and gets snapped out of focus. And so even like the sound of the notification can just like snap us out of focus. Most of us today are like too hooked to modern technology, and like scientists have done like things to like make your brain addicted to it, like, you know, all the like crazy sciencey stuff they've done. And most of us today can't work effectively because of it, because we're just like we're doing this task and then we're doing that task and then we're doing this and that. All you need to do is focus on the task. No notifications, no nothing, just focus on the task and don't take your eyes off it as best as possible. You sit down 60 to 120 minutes. Obviously, if you like finish earlier, then finish earlier. But you sit down, you do the task, You don't take your eyes off the task until the task is done, and then boom, done. And like that's almost like a concept called deep work. There's an entire book on it, but I'm not here to explain that. That might be a different video or something. But pretty much just focus on the work. Don't pick up your phone, don't check notifications, don't check anything. And now a lot of people are probably thinking, oh, but what if my dog like jumps out the window, or like my mum falls down the stairs and like they need to like I have do not disturb. Bro, like the likelihood of that accident happening, like maybe a car accident happens, is the same likelihood as you getting a girlfriend, bro. Relax. Turn on do not disturb and don't turn it off. I've had my do not disturb on for about like I've had it on since January, and today it is the 9th of February as recording this video, 2023. And I've kept my do not disturb on, and yeah. If you want to increase your productivity, turn on do not disturb. Productivity tactic number 2, value your time higher. Most people value their time way too low. And I want to like give you an example to so you kind of understand. Let's imagine McDonald's is giving away free hamburgers for the day, right? And so you want a free hamburger, right? And so you queue up in the line, and the line's about 1 hour. So you decide, okay, I'm gonna wait in this line. I want a free hamburger. So you go and you wait in that line like a weenie. And yes, you get your free hamburger that cost you £1. You spent an hour, you traded an hour of your time for £1. Right. Would you ever take a £1 an hour job? Hopefully your answer to that question is no. You would not take a £1 an hour job. But this is how people are spending their time. They're spending it on £1 an hour hamburger, like a hamburger that costs you £1, and you're waiting in an hour's line. You're a flipping bum. You're a bum. And so now let's switch the scenario around. Let's imagine you're a YouTuber and you can record 3 videos an hour, and those 3 videos will like roughly earn you about £1,000 in the next week, right? You could technically say that your time, no, not even technically, your time is valued at £1,000 an hour. Because if you can record 3 videos in 1 hour, roughly everyone's around 20 minutes, and you can post those to the internet, and in a week's time you make £1,000, your time is roughly around £1,000 an hour. Does that make sense? So most people don't value their time high enough, and so if you want to be productive, you're gonna have to value your time higher. Because literally, like, if you don't, you'll like mess around playing video games, because it's like you haven't like what else would you do? Like nothing else gives you like a good return on investment. Now, a follow-up from what we've just talked about, valuing your time higher, productivity tactic number 3 is to set a perfect routine. Now, I want you to do this visualization with me. Like, if you want, you can close your eyes, but imagine you've set your perfect day and you're super disciplined. 5 a.m. wake up, 5:30 exercise, 6 o'clock work, record 7 videos, etc. Imagine how productive you would be. You would you would just outcompete your like what is even the word, bro? You would demolish your competition, right? And imagine you followed that every day for a year. You followed that one routine, that perfect day routine to a T for a year. You would probably get success, right? So a practical step which I want you to do, which will also help you value your time higher, is to just make a routine, a perfect day routine. Even if it sounds unrealistic, make your perfect routine. If you want to start waking up at 5, set it at like 5 a.m. Wake up 5, and then meditate or something, and then like write down what you're grateful for. Then exercise like 6:30 exercise. Like give timestamps as if it's like a high school timetable, right? And the idea behind this is that obviously we're not going to achieve our perfect day, right? But if we even follow 35% of the perfect day routine, that'll probably be better than a normal day anyway. Because, like, what else would you do if, like, you probably play video games, or like, if you like, you're weird. If you like watch porn, you're very weird. But if you do that, either way, you're wasting time, right? So, um, where was I now? See, that's your fault, man. Because you're a little wank. If you set the iron routine and you follow that, even for 35% of the day, that's probably better than a normal day where you're probably like you're watching porn, or like you're scrolling on TikTok. TikTok's basically porn at this point anyway. Or like you're just wasting time somehow. So set a perfect routine in place so that at least you have somewhat of a guideline to follow throughout your day. And you could also add on to this by setting a habit tracker. Productivity tactic number 4 is to have discipline. Now, discipline is simply doing the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. And it's important that you do it especially when you don't feel like it. Because the times when you do feel like it, they're like you probably that's probably like 30% of the time. When you actually want to do the work or do the exercise or do whatever it is you want to do, it's probably about 30% of the time you actually like feel motivated to do it, right? Or like you actually want, like you just want to do it. And so 70% of the time you probably don't want to do it. Obviously these percentages are just made up for the example, but we'll use it for now. The 70% of times you don't want to do it. Now, the 70% of times you don't want to do it, you have one of two choices. Number one, just skip it or have discipline. And I really hope you choose this one. Have discipline, right? You need to make sure your emotions don't get the best of you. Because, like I say, in the modern day, like technology has like hooked our emotions to, and like our wants and desires to be hooked to want to play video games, to want to watch porn, to watch TikTok, right? We need to be able to say no. I want to exercise. I need to exercise. I need to do the hard work, especially when I don't feel like it. The best times to actually do some sort of task or habit is usually when you don't feel like it. Like I said, the more times you're probably not going to want to do it. You need to put your future self as the priority, because that will immediately help you build discipline. Putting your future self at the priority, delaying gratification, doing things that are uncomfortable right now but will give you a reward in the future. Because when you delay gratification, even though it feels uncomfortable right now, your future self will be grateful when looking back and thinking, I'm so happy that the younger version of me put in those hours studying, recording these YouTube videos, exercising, etc. The last productivity tactic, and probably one you didn't expect, is productivity tactic number 5, which is actually to improve your mental health. Now, if your mental health is bad, right, it won't be able to sit down and work because it doesn't feel mentally healthy to actually sit down and do the work, or like record the videos or whatnot, right? Because like your brain is just like so like literally it's trash. Your mental health is so trash that is literally incapable of sitting down and doing work. And procrastination isn't actually a problem, it's more the symptom of the actual problem, which is your mental health, right? Because it's essentially, I guess you could argue like it's a coping mechanism, because your brain, like we say, your brain is so like mentally incapable of doing the work that it literally like it literally just can't do it, and so you end up putting it off until you finally feel mentally ready to do it, and then you can sit down and do the work easy, right? So if we improve our mental health, which I'm going to teach you in just a couple of seconds, if we improve our mental health, then we can essentially beat procrastination, and then you'll just be more productive anyway, because you'll probably spend more time actually working instead of procrastinating. Okay, so there's two simple ways to improve your mental health, and I'll go over each briefly. Number one is gratitude journaling. Most of the time, right? Most of the time, we are just going about our day to day, and we're mostly focusing on the negatives, right? We never sit down and genuinely think, I'm thankful or I'm grateful for X. I'm grateful for the camera that I'm recording this video with. I'm grateful for the journal I have. I'm grateful for a roof over my head. No one's genuinely like thinking about these things, and it's no wonder why everyone's negative and has poor mental health nowadays. So the practical step that you can do is just every day from now on, or like a couple of days a week, just write down, it doesn't matter where it is, just write down or type on your phone what you're grateful for. The second way to improve your mental health is to meditate. And I know that sounds wishy-washy, and now like bare people have like already like just no, I'm not listening anymore. Yeah. You need to start meditating. Meditation will give you mindfulness, and mindfulness is like the thing we kind of want. Now normally in our brain we start like getting negative thoughts, right, just automatically and randomly, right? And then we we become that thought almost, and then it starts spiraling into other negative thoughts, because like you're having negative thoughts about your negative thoughts because you don't want to have them, and they're bad, and now like it's one chaotic mess. But when you meditate, you build up the skill of mindfulness, which essentially recognizes that there's a negative thought and then just immediately gets rid of it and doesn't like become the thought. You don't become the thought. You just literally see it as what it is, a thought, and then you could swap it out for a positive one, or just say, oh yeah, that's just a thought, it's not actually like me, right? I don't want to think that thought. Boom, get it out of there. And I know meditation sounds wishy-washy. Literally, I'm going to explain it as simple as possible. Literally, sit down, close your eyes, maybe set on a 10-minute timer, focus on your breath for those 10 minutes as best as you possibly can. If your mind wanders, that's sick, honestly, because then you have an opportunity to bring it back, which levels up mindfulness. You do that for 10 minutes. At least I usually do it for 10 minutes. You do whatever time you feel comfortable with. And then you do that for the rest of your life. And your mental health will be fantastic. And I know that's not what people want to hear. But, do you want to be like a weenie, or do you want to have good mental health? Because me personally, I don't mind meditating for the rest of my life. if I'm not a flipping weenie. Like, and I like have a good life and a good quality of like mental health. If you want to have bad like mental health, I mean, go ahead, don't meditate in it. But like me personally, I want any benefit to my mental health that I can get. And so after this productivity tactic, most of the people have clicked off because they don't want to hear about mental health, right? But the people, the real ones that have stayed around and thought, yep, maybe my mental health needs improving, I promise you guys are going to be the ones that are actually productive. I promise that you guys are going to be the ones that have a good quality of life. You are going to be the one that actually like gets what they want out of life.